Hey YouTube, Mr. Hub 996. I'm bringing a video specifically for one of my subscribers that's asked a question. The question that the viewer has posed is if I had any experience with my charging handle falling out of the gun while firing. I personally haven't. I can see where possibly they have or someone has. And so I wanted to address the video real quick with some possible ideas to look at. First off, you can see right here on the charging handle itself, it's cut. So you have a dimple on either side, the charging handle. The ball detent that holds the charging handle in place, see if I can get a picture of it here, is right on this side of the hole when you stick it in, and I know I'm not going to get a good picture of that. Not really. There, you can kind of see it there. Let me see if I can get any closer to the camera here with this. Okay. You can kind of see the ball and detent a little bit right there. And basically it's just a spring-loaded ball that as you insert the handle into, no matter which way you go, one of these grooves should get caught. You can hear it snap into place. And mine's quite tight. It takes quite a bit of effort to get it in. See how loud and positive that was? It almost took 2 fingers to get it in. And it's quite solid. If you flip it over, I'll show it from the bottom side. So there's no wiggle at all. It's fairly solid in that block once it engages. Okay, so one of my suggestions, well actually 2 of them, be number 1, to check and see how clear the 2 little V notches are in your charging handle. Make sure that they're just pronounced enough, they're clean to engage the ball detent. The other thing is to check the ball detent right here and make sure that it's engaging the notch. Okay, and something I want to show real quick. I'm going to push this in again, show how much effort it takes. Okay, so it takes quite a bit of effort. It's not coming out. If I go to remove it, okay, now I'm going to rotate it, stick it right back in. The same amount of effort. So the 2 things I would be questioning is the ball detent locking in place and holding the charging handle tight? In other words, when you get your charging handle in, how much wiggle or play does the charging handle have? And what you might want to check, I have one direction that seems to have less play than the other. Either way, the handle's still tight. But check the rotation and see if one side's tighter than the other. The other thing I can suggest is make sure the ball detent moves freely inside of the gun. Looks like there's a pin here, and what I want to see is something I've never paid that much attention to. What I'm curious about, let's see if I can get it on camera when I check it. Yeah, okay. There's a pin right here, right where the tip of my finger is. And I believe if you drive that pin out, there's a spring, there's a channel drilled all the way up into here. You push that pin out very carefully. The spring and the ball detent should come out for cleaning. Then you can check it for damage, see if maybe there's not enough tension on the spring. To put it back in, you probably have to use a drill bit or something small to insert the spring, get the spring up past the point where that pin engages, push the pin back into place, and the spring and ball should put tension on that block and hold it. The thing I don't know is which direction it pushes out and how tight it is. But that's how it's manufactured from the factory. They drill a hole this way into that recess. And I can't tell if it's a ball or a spring detent pin, but they drill a hole this way through the block. There's a spring in here and your detent. So if you're having problems with that, maybe that detent isn't fully engaging, and that's something you can take a look at. I'll see if I can use my multi-tool here to press on that detent and see how much pressure it has on it. Okay. I can already tell there's a lot of tension on that detent. So it could be such a thing as the spring is worn, the spring is missing, it's a poor fit. So that may be one of the places to look at. But the main thing is check and make sure you can visibly see the detent. My flashlight is way too bright here. Let me turn it down some. Okay, you can kind of make out it's a silver, looks like a pen. There you go. It shows up really good right there, the silver pin. And that is the detent that the two grooves align with. And it only has to align with one, but they've made it so that it's ambidextrous, or it doesn't matter which way you insert it for it to lock. So make sure that those grooves are sufficient for the pin to lock into. The other thing is make sure when you insert the pin that you're getting in far enough. Because I would imagine, I'm trying to duplicate it, I don't know if I can, that you can get it in. With me, by the time it slips, it's engaged. Okay, I just did it then. I'm not going to be able to do it a second time. I can see it. Yeah, for me, by the time I get the detent to slip, it's engaged. So, I hope this video has helped shed some light onto it. If anybody else has any ideas, it'd be great. But, like I say, you can see the groove that's cut in either side of the charging handle. And if you roll it over, it's the same no matter which side you're on. So your detent that holds the charging handle in is only located on this side. But they've cut the charging handle so that it doesn't matter which way you insert it. So one of the suggestions I would have is maybe these detent cuts aren't deep enough. If you don't feel it's engaging, maybe take a square file, and open those up a little bit just to give more room for the detent pin to engage. And one of the things you might want to try, if you go that route, is only do one side. That way, if that's not the issue, you can still roll it over and have the factory groove in there. But I don't have any problems. I don't have hardly any wobble in mine when it's in. So it's the first two things I've got. I'm not saying anybody's an idiot. I'm not. But make sure that the charging handle is fully engaged into that detent. Make sure the detent's clean. It's not getting stuck or jammed. And if you're still having an issue, then I would even try putting some oil on the detent spring and using a small drill bit or a butter knife or something to get in there and actuate that pin in and out of this block to make sure it's free and moving. Make sure that it's not getting stuck back here and not coming forward. And if all those things fail, then I would look at possibly taking a file or something and making a deeper V in one side of your charging handle just to make sure that detent pin can lock in place. All right? Mine's very, very tight. All right. If anybody else has any comments, please feel free to chime in. But that's my 2 cents for right now. It's not a problem I'm having, but I've had 2 different people answering the same post about it. One that was having the problem, and one suggesting that you paint your charging handle red. So if it falls out in the grass or something while you're shooting, it makes it easier to see. I think that's a great idea. What I would do is I would mask off the lower part of the handle so only from here up is red. That way, when it's in the gun, you can't see it. But if something happens and it falls out, this nice big red flag here that would show up in the grass without having a red handle sticking out. So that's just my 2 cents on somebody else's comment. That's a possible option. If you keep losing this, or if it falls in the grass and you're afraid of losing it, I would take a scouring pad and some brake clean all this up like a white Scotch-Brite pad. White's for aluminum because you don't want to take the finish off here too harshly. But you do want to scuff it enough and make sure it's dry enough with no oil for paint to stick. So I would clean it with brake clean and possibly white Scotch-Brite. And then paint it red from the crease down so that when it's in the gun you can't really see it. But if it comes out, you have all that red standing out against grass or whatever your background is. So I hope this was helpful. Please feel free to comment. And thanks for watching.